Better late than never. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Better late than ever if you're watching live. Sometimes issues go wrong. I apologise. Was ready to go. We're live. Manchester United then. Manchester United. We are a Manchester United fan channel. Hopefully you are all Manchester United fans as well. Apparently we've put a bid in for a defender. Doesn't surprise me. I've been saying for a while now that I do expect us to go out and sign somebody else in the transfer market, especially a defender. So we'll be talking about who that may well be, because the reality is I haven't really got much of a clue, and I don't think anybody else would have either. Jose Fonte is the obvious one to start off with. I just want to say as well that we probably also will be talking about something that's developed over the last few hours, which is that Middlesbrough are taking a look at Pereira, which, you know what, I would have been really opposed to at one point, but actually I'm not. I'm actually quite pleased about that. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's fly straight into this. Manchester United, apparently they've put a bid in for a defender. It's not our first choice defender is what I've been told, but it's somebody that Jose feels that we need to sign, and Manchester United have sanctioned it. So whether Manolas was the one they wanted, the rumour is that Manolas will not be leaving won't be leaving Roma. And obviously Bonucci, we're never going to get him from Juventus, and Koulibaly and people like that. I don't think we were ever in for him. So whoever we're going for, they are our second choice in many ways. Some people think it might be Fabinho from Monaco. I do think that deal could be done. I think Darmian is somebody we'll talk about in a few minutes, so I think he's probably on the next coach out of Manchester, or playing to Italy. I think not even on the bench against Bournemouth. Valencia is playing at right back. I mean, whatever you think about Valencia, he's doing quite well at the moment. I personally think over the course of a season, his positional sense will cause us problems. But he's the first choice right back at the moment, and I think we need a right back. So Fabinho, I think, could still happen. But I don't think he is this defender that we're rumoured to be bidding for. I think this defender is most likely going to be an experienced centre-back. Which brings me on to Jose Fonte, who I wanted to talk about. A lot of Manchester United fans, well, I say a lot, I don't know. I haven't done the research on this. I don't know the percentages. I can only go off what I've said on Twitter. And a few people have said they'd like Jose Fonte to come to Manchester United. What I'm going to clarify here is, because if he comes to Manchester United, I've got to support him. It's not like Fellaini, who's been rubbish for 3 years. One good game against Bournemouth and people think he's a first team player. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Fonte's never played for Manchester United before. If he signs for us, he'll get my backing, and I hope he does really well. My concerns about Fonte, and the reason I'll be blatantly honest and say I do not want him, is because I want us to sign an experienced centre-back who can be a first team player. I'm reading a lot of people today saying, oh, Fonte would be a great signing for when Bay goes to the African Nations Cup, and he's an experienced centre-back who can be backup. Why sign an experienced centre-back to be backup? Twansibi's ready to be backup, and he's a young lad. We've got Smalling, we've got Blind, we've got Bailly. I mean, they are experienced. Smalling and Blind are experienced. Whether you believe they're good enough or not is a different matter, but they are experienced. Bailly's obviously not experienced, but I think he's good enough. So why would you go and sign Fonte why would we sign a centre-back, should I say, who is not going to be first choice? He's going to be experienced backup. For me, it's got to be somebody better than what we've already got, and experienced. That's what I want to see. Which is where my problem, I mean, Scuba Lubin is saying Varane, Graham Hancock saying it's Varane. I'd love it to be Varane. Will Harwood says Koulo Touré. I don't think Brendan Rodgers will let us have him. Sorry, I've got a tickle in my throat. So my issue with Jose Fonte is not a personal crusade here. I'll tell you a few things about Jose Fonte you may not be aware of. We'll start with the positives. He is Premier League experienced. He won a Euro. He won the Euros with Portugal. And what did we learn about that? International football's rubbish, and Portugal put 10 men behind the ball. So of course he looked good as a defender. It's not the same as playing with two centre-backs and letting your team bomb on. But my issue with Fonte is that regardless of centre-backs I would sign from the Premier League, I think there are centre-backs that I wouldn't sign for Manchester United who are just as good. I think Shawcross, Ashley Williams, who I said I didn't want. I think these are players that are at the level of Fonte is. But more importantly for me, he's 32. He's going to be 33 in December. 3 months away, he'll be 33 years of age. From the ages of 25 to 30, he played his prime years. Guess where it was? Guess where he played his prime years between 25 and 30? He played them for Crystal Palace and Southampton in the Championship. Southampton got promoted to the Premier League when he was 30. He's never played for a top club. And why people are thinking that somebody can have an Indian summer and like suddenly be Man United class when they're about to turn 33, I just don't get it. I mean, if you think he's worth it, then fine. But all I'm hearing is, oh, he'd be a great experienced backup centre-back. And I don't understand that. I don't understand why we need an experienced backup centre-back. What we need is an experienced centre-back who's better than Blind and Smalling. Because Blind and Smalling are experienced. The issue is some people just don't think they're good enough. I rate Smalling. I love Blind as a utility player. But if we're going to get experience, they are experienced. So they've got to be better than Blind and Smalling. And Fonte isn't. That's what I would say about that. MUFC 2404 at perfect timing says he's old but better than most of our centre-backs. Well, he's not better than Blind. He's not better than Smalling. And he's not better than Bailly. So I think if we're going to sign a centre-back, they've got to be better than at least two of those three. And Fonte just isn't. And I don't know why. I guarantee none of you lot, not whether you like Fonte or not, none of you lot have watched more than 10 games of Fonte in your life. I guarantee over 90% of you. So for you to be saying, oh, he's a really top-class centre-back, I bet not many of you even realised that between the ages of 25 and 30 he was playing in the Championship, his prime years. He's not suddenly become any better than he ever was. He's a decent centre-back. He's not Manchester United class and he's not what we should be going for. Touche says Fonte is trash. I wouldn't actually go that far. I just amazed. I think he may well be the centre-back we're about to sign because I think Mourinho would probably take somebody over nobody. Melvin Pele is saying, which defender is it? That's what we're trying to establish. Apparently there is a bid gone in. Some people are saying Varane. I'd love Varane, but I just can't see Real Madrid doing any business with us. Other names that might be interested, which I would prefer over Fonte, they call him Fanta. Fonte is Johnny Evans, says John Solaris. Mark, you are annoying. Mark, you annoying over how you criticise players, said Eddie Edward. It's not criticism. The United Stand's always been about this, and we implore you lot to be the same. These are my opinions. I am presenting the United Stand tonight, but it's not the United Stand opinion. I think people get lost in this. The United Stand is a fan channel for fan opinion. I happen to be presenting the shows at the moment. What do you want me to do? Sit here and be, grey and sit on the fence and get splinters on my soul? I've got to tell you what I think. I actually research transfer dealings. That's why I love doing the summer transfer shows, which we've done every night. And Fonte, for me, at 33 in December and playing his prime years in the Championship and never been near a top 6 side, let alone a top 4, a title winning side, just not for me. But all he's going to be, if you sign him, I'll be happy, but all he's going to be is a backup centre-back. And we don't need a backup centre-back. We need an experienced first team centre-back. So we'll see what happens. I think it's probably him. What I was going to say is that Miranda, ex-Atletico Madrid, he's 31, so he's a couple of years younger than Fonte. Formerly of Atletico Madrid, Brazilian international, about 6'1", currently playing for Inter Milan. He's only been there for about a year, so I don't think we can do this deal, but maybe because Jose's got good links into Milan, it could be him. I'm hoping it's him over Fonte because I actually quite like Miranda. He's a decent centre-back and schooled at Atletico Madrid, which we know they've got fantastic defenders. I'd love to get Godin or someone like that from there. And another one, Garay, or Gary as I call him, the Argentinian centre-back. 29, again, very experienced, plays for Argentina. He's currently at Zenit St. Petersburg, but previously I think he played for Benfica, didn't he? So he's another good centre-back. My only concern about Gary is that he's Argentinian, and I just think Rojo's put me off a lot of Argentinian defenders. So Miranda would be the one for me. But what I wanted to say, very interestingly, is I haven't got the latest, is that we thought Mustafi, who's the centre-back we've mentioned, the German centre-back, he's mid-20s, he is experienced, he is at Valencia. I was digging him out a bit last week because I thought he was going to Arsenal, just trying to wind up Arsenal fans. But actually, he's not a bad centre-back. And apparently, the deal to Arsenal, which we all thought was going to happen, isn't going to happen. And I just was thinking today, you know what price that Jose might have swooped in and secured a deal with Mustafi to annoy Wenger, and I tell you what, that would be a very, very good signing. So keep your eye on that. I'm not convinced that will happen, but it would be great. Shani Mia says Thiago Silva would be excellent. He would be excellent, but the thing about Thiago Silva is I don't think we're going to get one of these big centre-backs like we want. Manolas isn't going to happen, I don't think. I'd love it to happen. Bonucci, Juventus aren't going to give us another player. PSG aren't going to give us Silva or Maquinos, or however you say his name. Varane, Real Madrid, you know, if they've seen my video about winters coming, they're not going to give us anything, are they? So, yeah, I would like some of those players. But Rob J, Griezmann next summer, yep, definitely. John Terry, no, that's not obviously not going to happen, is it? Jose Mourinho, watch me hijack Mustafi. So yeah, I think it's going to be Jose Fonte. I've said my bit about it. If we sign him, he will get my backing as a new Manchester United player. But in summary, my concern about Fonte is he's 33 in 3 months' time. He's played most of his career in lower leagues, and you know, regardless of that, really, to be honest, regardless of that, why sign somebody who's going to be a backup, experienced centre back? Who I don't think, is, from what I've seen, he's not better than Blind, he's not better than Bay, and he's not better than Smalling. What I want us to do is buy a centre-back who, straight away, you go, whew, they're going to be challenging Smalling, Bay and Blind for a place in the starting lineup. Fonte isn't at that level for me. He's good squad, but it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work. And £8 million, people say it's a steal, but what are you going to get? A squad player for a year? I'd rather play Twansibi. I really would rather have him. That's what Devon Liebard's saying as well. So yeah, not over the moon about that, but there you go. Let's talk about the Pereira thing to Middlesbrough, because it is a transfer show. Oh God, hurt me leg, my hip. It is a transfer show, as many as you will know. So do get asking your questions. But Pereira, obviously not part of the Manchester United first team squad. Not been part of any of the squads for the Community Shield or our first game now. So it's interesting, isn't it? I'm at that stage with Pereira now, where I want him to go. I want him to leave Manchester United on loan. I still think he's got a great future, but it's one of the big mysteries in life, isn't it? Somebody was saying this to me today. You know, you've got Pereira, who's been basically snubbed by 3 Manchester United managers, and they're saying, well, maybe there's something wrong in training. But then what gives me hope is if we've also got 3 managers who think Fellaini's a first team player for Manchester United. So, you know, maybe they've just all got that little bit in their brain, or Fellaini's drugging him, I don't know. But I do think Pereira will be a top midfielder, and I do think we'll be in a situation if we let him go. I'm not convinced about Januzaj. I hope he does turn it around at Middlesbrough. But with Pereira, I do think if we let him go, it will come back and bite us. Is he going to go to Middlesbrough under David Moyes when they've just got Januzaj? I don't know why I've just gone high pitch either. I can't see that happening. But what I would like to see him go is to a Premier League club. You know, Leicester, Bournemouth, somebody like that, and play football. That's what I want to see Pereira do. He's clearly not going to get much game time under Jose. I mean, the reality is Ashley Young's part of the 22, Pereira's not, and Ashley Young can't even get on the bench. So Pereira, realistically, as much as I love him, if you saw my reaction to his goal against Wigan a few weeks ago, you know what I think of Pereira. I think he's a fantastic player. But the best thing for Pereira is to get out on loan, because he's not going to get much time at the moment. So yeah, definitely want him. Fire in any comments you've got about the about any transfers that you want to discuss. Frazan Pillai says Fonte is Southampton's Phil Jones. You know, I'm not digging Fonte out. He's a good Southampton centre back. I'm not saying he's rubbish by any means. I never said Ashley Williams was rubbish either. What I've said is they're not Manchester United class for me. And the reality is, if we're going to sign somebody, they've got to be better than what we've got. Bloody Alex is better than Rojo and Jones. So, you know, you could sign, you know, we could go and sign, we could get, what's his face, Gary Pallister out of retirement, and he'd be better than Jones and, or Steve Bruce, he's put on a bit of weight. He could play better than Jones and Rojo. Anybody's better than Jones and Rojo. But if we're going to sign a centre-back, for me, they've got to be at least better than 2 of the 3 that I consider we can rely on, which are Blind, Bailly and Smalling. That's what the centre-back should be in there, at least number 2, maybe even number 1. And Fonte isn't better than them 3. That's my issue with him, along with his age and the fact that I don't understand why people suddenly think he's Man United class when he's never been played for a top team. But Stephen McMorrow would love Fabinho. We were talking about him a few minutes ago. I do think that could happen. How old is Fonte, says Joe Smith? He's 33 in December. Again, not good enough, says Daniel Becker. Gavlar says not Manchester United class. Timo J says that Jose said he will use his squad players in the Europa League, which I think is a good idea. I do not want to prioritise it, Timo J, sorry. I don't want to prioritise that at all, so I'd be happy with that. Laporte says Taylor Dennison, not going to be him. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is. And nobody's given me any leaning from the people who have in the summer. And DiMarzio's not saying anything easier. I don't know who it is. I suspect it's Fonte. What I do know is that we are bidding for a defender. It's not Jose's first choice. I suspect first choice was probably Bonucci or Manolas. But it is somebody that he'd be happy to sign. So I think it's probably, I do think it's him. But Alex Ferguson says there, Virgil van Dijk. I mean, I'm not convinced about having him, but I would take him any day of the week over Fonte because he's better. I'd love Howdies, I can never get his name, that's Aussie29. I mean, this is what somebody said today, and it's very, very true. Why are we going for Fonte, who is a short-term backup player who's not better than Blin, Smalling and Bailly? Why are we wasting £8 million on him when there are centre-backs out there we can go and get with aggressive transfer activity like we've shown this summer? We could go and get Manolas, we could go and get Howdies, we could go and get Mustafi, we could go and get Koulibaly, we could go and get Miranda if we were just a bit aggressive like we have been this summer. We don't need to settle for Fonte, and I hope we did. Garay would be ideal, says Nakalated Cooley, definitely. So yeah, I don't know who it's going to be. Let's see who it's going to be. Rob J says, Mark, can you dab? I'm clearly not going to be dabbing, am I? Because we're not going to sell Fellaini, which I did. Let's talk about Fellaini a little bit, and I'll let me just do this as well. The Patreon page is going really well. It's starting to build up. I did tell you about this. This Patreon page that we've got for the United Stand is basically, you can contribute, I think it's a couple of dollars a month, and we'll give you, you can have a shout out, you can have a question read out. And some people are, oh, why are you doing that? And I said, well, you know what? We've looked around. We're trying to make the United Stand go bigger, have better equipment so we don't have problems like tonight. And also, there is a United, it's not ours, there's a United podcast that does one show a week. We do a show every night for you, watch-alongs and everything like that. They do one podcast a week, and they've got over £2,000 a month being pledged to them by their listeners. So people do it, and if people out there who watch the United Stand do want to help us grow in that way, the link to the Patreon thing is in the video description. Some people have done it. What I would say is, I'm going to put it up on the screen now. What I would say is, thanks, it says, doesn't it? Thanks to our new United Stand Patreons. The list of the new August ones will be going up there, and it will explain how you can get involved for it. But if you want us to put up your social media thing there, we can do that. If you are a Patreon and it's your birthday or anything like that, let us know. We're going to start using this ticker a bit more. And the big reason I'm debuting it tonight is, one, so Draughty Devil can see it and have a look at how we can do it a little bit better. I hope you like it. Drop us a like if you do like it. But obviously on the watch along, if you ever watch the watch along for the first half an hour before we're on air, people join us at different times, like, Mark, what's the starting lineup? And I waste probably about 10 minutes going, De Gea, Valencia, blah, blah, blah. We're going to put the team lineup on the ticker like that as soon as it comes up on watch-alongs from now on. And we're going to have, like, if you join us during a watch-along, we're going to, you know, the score will be 1-0, but we'll have a little tacker saying who scored the goal and everything like that. So there we go. Fellaini will be played in the Cup. Mark is beautiful. I'm one of their listeners and subscribe to your extra time too, says Nikhil. Yeah, so yeah, this is what I mean. A lot of people contribute to United content, and we do it in our spare time, so it works out, you know, it helps us. Pankaj says we're trying to rip him off. I'd love to spend 10 minutes with you, Pankaj, trying to figure out how the United Stand or any United fan content rip you off when they probably spend about 30 hours of their own time every week providing with you with content talking about Manchester United and doing all this. So there you go. You don't have to contribute. Those who have for August are up there, and a Patreon thing, once you've contributed to it, there's a little dashboard private message thing where you can put your questions in there, things like that, and whatever you want to go up on there is great. Right, but I'm looking forward to this Tacker thing because I want to put the team news up on the watch along, and it opens up a lot of things. I wonder how many other channels will start copying that. Let them copy. We're happy to be the innovators, and they can be second. But let's talk a little bit about Fellaini. It's difficult. You know what? It's really difficult for me because I'm going to get Fellaini, and my thoughts on Fellaini have sort of been a bit like a graph. At the very start, we started doing the United Stand 2 years ago. I said Fellaini's crap and he's not a United player, and he was doing alright. He wasn't doing alright, but a lot of people say, oh, you've got to back him. So I used to get a lot of stick. Over the last 2 years, he's got gradually worse, and more people have sort of agreed what I've said, that he's not a Manchester United player. But what happened yesterday is he played quite well. He did play well. He was up there for man of the match. But and everyone's now saying Jose says we've got to love him, so he's a Manchester United first team player. And I did tweet it out earlier because I'll always say what I think, and it surprises me that before the Bournemouth game yesterday, I would say 90%, maybe more, probably 95% of United fans would chuck Fellaini out of a plane into the ocean if they had a chance, and I'd be one of them. I'd say today I'm probably massively in the minority of wanting to chuck him in the plane, and you'd all be out there with deep sea rescue trying to save him. Everybody wants him to stay again now, and I've had a lot of people questioning me saying, "Wow, you've got to agree that Fellaini's got to stay now." I want to listen to what people have got to say on the comments. Ishrak is saying that, or somebody just said the ticker colour is not that pleasant. We will change it. It's just a trial, so you're all very lucky to that. Chris Angry Beaver said, I hate myself for admitting this as I hate the man, but he played well yesterday. Good God, I said it. No, Chris, you're spot on there. I would say that. And Colin Archer saying he's okay, but not an amazing player. Let me explain my point, and then we'll go through some of yours as per usual. First never follows. Yeah, I'm going to be last on never follows at the moment with Fellaini if he carries on playing like yesterday. But what I would say about it is, just because I back Jose Mourinho and I want him to do well, and I think he will do well, just because he comes on the telly and says I've got to start loving Fellaini because I'm a Manchester United fan, I disagree, because I'd feel like such a hypocrite having spent the last 2 years saying he's not very good, he's not a Manchester United player, he needs to go. I feel like such a hypocrite to say, yeah, suddenly he is. And what am I doing it off? One game. That's the best game I've ever seen him play for Manchester United yesterday, because he just did what he was told to do and didn't try to do things that he can't do, which is basically run with the ball, take people on, try a 50-yard pass. He can't do that. He got the ball, he won the headers in the midfield, he dominated the midfield. He did it well. But for me, if we got an offer for £10 million tomorrow, I would still take it, because there's plenty of midfielders better than him, and I still don't think if you play him in a Manchester United side, I can't see us winning the title. And I stand by that. I would be happy to be proved wrong, because it would mean Manchester United won the title. But have I changed my opinion on Fellaini? I'm going to be 100% honest and say no. And somebody said, oh, you've got to back him, you've got to give him a chance. I've seen him have 3 years of chances. The only chance he's got now is because he's got a different manager in charge of him. Can a new manager totally change somebody from 3 years of dross? They can, but they can't turn somebody who is slow, has got the turning speed of an articulated lorry, who actually doesn't win that many headers compared to other people for his height, who's dirty, who can't run with the ball very fast, and can only do passes between about 5 and 10 yards are his limit. So he can't turn somebody into something that they're not. Can he be a squad player? Yes. Can he be a first team player? I don't know whether that's what Jose's thinking, but if that happens, I'd be very, very concerned. So for me, I haven't changed my opinion on him. I will back him if he wears the shirt, and obviously I wanted him to do well yesterday, and I'll stand up and say he did do well yesterday. But I can't change what I think about him, and it's not like I'm not giving him a chance. He's had 3 years of chances. We're going into our 4th year of Fellaini now. Is that how bad's that? We'll probably give him a new contract soon. But I tell you what, somebody said, well, when would you change your opinion on Fellaini? I tell you what, I won't change it based on one game against a very poor Bournemouth midfield, and we dominated that Bournemouth midfield. And I'm going to come on to Herrera in a minute. If he does that performance like yesterday for the next 10 to 15 games, including the likes of Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, people like that, I'll revisit in 15 games and I'll go, you know what, Jose's turned a crap player into a decent player. And I will say that honestly and openly, and I have no regrets about it. But to say, oh, he's a first team player just because he played well on the opening day of the season against Bournemouth, I think it's early days. And it disappoints me that some people who I know watch the United stand have gone from 2 days ago saying, oh, chuck him in the river, to, oh, he's great now. It's just so flippant. But that's what the United stand's all about. Not being flippant, but it's all about your opinion. But my opinion is, I'm a bit disappointed by some fans who I know have openly changed their mind on a whim. Even Droity Devil said it to me today, and I said, no, it can't work. But the only place that Fellaini could work is a number 10. if you want to drop Rooney, I'll play Fellaini at number 10. I would do that because I think the best I ever saw Fellaini was number 10 at Everton, and I think he could do that job. Herrera, I wanted to just talk about as well. Where was that comment there? It was a good one about Pogba. It's whizzed by. Richie, I would consider Diego God into our team because I think he's a fantastic player. I just don't think anybody's going to leave Atletico Madrid while Simeone's still there. What I wanted to talk about was Herrera. I don't know if everybody... Before our watch-alongs now, every time United are live, we do a watch-along that you can watch the game with us. I'm actually in the set for it now, a little bit. And because it says watch-along live up there. But... before we go on air about an hour before the game, so we get the team news and then we talk about people in the team. And Drawty came on for a little bit yesterday, and we had Alex on before, and then Dan did the watch along with me. And Drawty was on about Herrera, saying that, you know, sort of running out of patience with him, don't know whether he's good enough. And I thought about it. I've always backed Herrera, and I really do like him. But I think this season is huge for Herrera. And if he doesn't produce the goods, he's going to go down as an expensive flop. And I think some people do sort of have a very good point when they say about Fellaini, why do you always pick on him? And maybe I do that. I just think he's not very good. But in fairness, we spent about the same money on Herrera. I like Herrera. I like his effort. But he's not fulfilled that potential. And it's a massive season for him. And you know what? It did make me think that... the midfield yesterday was Herrera and Fellaini. One of two things happened yesterday. Either Bournemouth's midfield wasn't actually that good and Fellaini and Herrera were made to look good by not a very good midfield, which I'm not. I would be. I don't think that's definitely the case because I think that's unfair on Jose and the team to think that. Or two players that haven't performed that well for Manchester United for the last 2 and 3 years in Fellaini's case are suddenly very, very good midfielders. I think the truth is somewhere in between. I would be interested in starting them both against Southampton on Friday night and just seeing just how good they are. Because I think it's a shame, and I do the same with Bay and Blind as well. I think it's a shame when two partners have played really well and we've won a game to just take them out because Smalling and Pogba are fit. We're at home on Friday night. We've got a home crowd. It's their first proper game of seeing Zlatan, Jose, Bailly, and hopefully Mkhitaryan and Pogba at some point. It's going to be a pressure cooker environment. We can afford to go into that game with the same starting lineup as yesterday. Give it a first half. If it's not working out, we're not going to be 3 or 4-0 down to Southampton. At worst, we could be 1 down, maybe a draw. You know, Rooney's knocking the ball out of play as per usual. And then you make the substitutions at half-time and you go and win the game. I do think I would like to see Fellaini and Herrera start the game on Friday and Bailly and Blind start the game on Friday because it's a winning team and I'm interested just to see how good they are against a better team than Bournemouth, which Southampton are. They've got to grow and that's what I think about it. Pogba will replace Rooney, says Dan Butterworth. I just don't think Rooney's gonna ever get dropped. That was something somebody said today. If you had the choice of selling either Fellaini or Rooney, and get commenting on this because we always like to get involved. If you had the choice of selling Fellaini or Rooney, who would you get rid of? And a lot of people were saying Rooney. Yeah, let's get rid of somebody who's actually contributed to our club in the last decade and our achievements, and compared to somebody who's played one good game against Bournemouth. I think that's a really good idea, but no, I wouldn't. I'd still get rid of Fellaini and keep Rooney. I know Rooney's probably on the decline, but I'd still keep. I think that's ridiculous that people would get rid of Rooney and keep Fellaini. I really do. But as I say, you know, football can be quite flippant. Opinions change like the wind, but I won't be changing my opinion on one game. I'll be blunt with you. I haven't changed my opinion on Daley Blind. I still don't think you can play him every game in a Premier League season because you'll still have games like last year against likes of Spurs and West Ham where he got dominated and was out of his depth. But I think he's a fantastic utilities player, and I think on yesterday I'd say the same about Fellaini. But a lot of people are saying they'd sell Fellaini over Rooney, which I think is the right thing. He's not going to be sold, by the way, Fellaini. There was somebody with conspiracy theory today that Jose's just saying it so he can bump the price up, saying that he's an integral part of the squad so he can bump the price up. That's not going to happen. We won't be selling him. Jose Mourinho says you've criticised him so many times. I'll criticise any player. Nobody's above being criticised. I support the club. The three most important things to me, it's like an echo, but the three most important things to me are the club, the fans and the badge. And anybody else is open to criticism. We are, as fans, we get criticised. So why aren't the players? You know, I support the club, I love the club, you love the club. So our opinion is far more important than Jose, Mourinho or the players, because as much as our destiny is in their hands and they make the decisions, they're not Manchester United fans, they're being paid to manage our club. So if they do things we don't agree with, my opinion, and I'd hope that most of you, your opinion would be, that's why we do these shows, is because it's our club that we love, and we'll say what we like. I've said to you, I back the manager 100%, but I don't agree with everything he does. It worked brilliantly yesterday, but I was concerned that we were putting Mata on the right midfield again, that we were putting Fellaini in the midfield as a defensive midfielder. I was concerned by that. It worked. I wanted it to work. I wanted 3 points from yesterday, and I'm happy. And I'm excited about Friday. I can't wait for Friday. I think it's going to be amazing. First home game at Old Trafford. Pogba's available. And obviously, it's Jose's first proper game at Old Trafford. And Zlatan's. 75 points I got in the Fantasy Premier League. I started off really bad last year. I'm gonna beat you all. And there's over 1,000 people in our United Stand League. So there you go. Okay, I apologise for the start of the show if you were watching live. There was a problem with my computer, which I think I've stabilised now. I think the tick-attacker at the bottom has worked really well. We'll modify it to make it look better than that, but the reality is it's raw and it works. So that will be used on the watch-alongs a hell of a lot more and on the shows a lot more. We can put questions up about what the next topic's going to be and all sorts. So it's another new dynamic to add to the show, like the live comments box on the left, the guests, the watch along. So we're always looking for ideas anyway. So really excited by that. Obviously, we've got our new patrons for August on there. If you want to get involved in that, the link is in the video description. Contribute a couple of dollars a month, I think, is the minimum one you can do. You can give you a shout out. You can ask questions that we'll read out on the show. That's great. Hit the like button if you like the new Tiki-Taka. I think there's loads of potential with that, especially with the watch-alongs, like I say. And tomorrow night, there may well be a show on the United Stand. I just don't know what time it will be, because tomorrow night, Fan TV, which is Tuesday to Saturday, the Fan TV, you can watch it on various outlets, but it is live on YouTube. Dan from the United Stand is in the studio tomorrow, and Chris, who was on the live comments, Chris Beaver, who debuted on the United Stand last Sunday, he's now part of it. He's in the studio as well, and I'll be going into the studio via Skype. So there's a whole hour about Manchester United on Fan TV tomorrow, and it's the United Stand who will be on that. So I think that's between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So do watch us for that. I'll put up a link to the video on our channel from about 7:30. So really enjoyed it. As you can tell, the season started now. So we're starting to go back to the more professional looking stuff. We were very raw through the summer because there was so many transfer stuff, and we just wanted to get out there and get the footage out. We're going back to more of the sets now, which is what hopefully you will prefer. There's less lag when we use this sort of recording system as well, so it's better quality video for you. You get the live comments up on the screen, which is important to us. You've got the Tiki-Taka as well, and also because it's the new season, I must add, previews. We're going to try and avoid doing pre-records on the channel as much as possible now, because we want to interact with you. That's what the United Stand's all about. So always start reading the comments, as Elliot Harworth. It debuted really well last week. We're going to start doing on a Wednesday night at 8:30, as long as there's not a football game. We're going to do live previews for the upcoming weekend game, and the great thing about that is I can go, hello and welcome to the United Stand. It's the Manchester United v Southampton preview. This is the lineup I would go with. What do you think? And then you get it up on the screen like that. I'm still talking. We can carry on talking. La la la. And this is the team that I think Jose will do. And then I'll have a different team. And then you come back. So we're trying to be very live and interactive with you. So do drop us a like if you like the ideas. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, obviously. I think I've covered everything. We're on Fan TV tomorrow night. Keep an eye out for the link to that video on Twitter. And I'll put something up on here as well. Thanks for the comment there, Dazzy's77 Gaming. Your head really big in that video. This video? Or what video? Goddamn, Rooney is the best. Rooney and Rojo and Jones. Mark, can you get some strippers on the show in the background? We're going live every night, hopefully. Yeah, we're going to carry on doing the live shows pretty much every night. The viewing figures have dropped If they drop a hell of a lot more, we'll stop doing it because we know over the summer there's far more interest. But for the moment, and certainly till the end of the transfer window, we will keep doing it every night with you. There we go. Where can we watch the United Stand story, says Draddle. I'll tell you what, I'll leave that up to you lot, because somebody said to me today, don't do the United Stand story till you've got 50,000 subscribers. There we go. Collabs with other channels, says Shani. We've always been open to that. Let's see what happens. Thanks, Michael Okello, for saying it's a great channel. Thanks, everybody. Really excited about the new season, mainly because of United, but mainly as well because the United Stand is just getting better and better. We're always trying to innovate. I love the idea of this Taka thing. We'll now get Drawty to do the graphics on it and make it look a hell of a lot better. And I'll speak to you all tomorrow night. But enjoy the rest of your evening. Let's find out who that defender's going to be, because I think we're definitely in for somebody, aren't we? Speak to you soon.